Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins from the United Kingdom, and in this video, we'll explore the top 7 most valuable United Kingdom 1 shilling coins, looking at different years, mint marks, and conditions that can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. The coin we're focusing on today is the historic United Kingdom 1 shilling, once an essential part of British currency and a favourite among collectors worldwide. Let's get started. First up, the 1954 United Kingdom 1 shilling. At first glance, this small coin may seem ordinary, but for collectors and numismatics enthusiasts, it represents an important moment in the early years of Elizabeth II's reign. Many people still have these coins tucked away in old drawers, coin jars, or inherited collections, and some wonder if they could be worth real money today. In this video, we'll explore the history of this coin, its unique design features, how rare it actually is, and what collectors are paying for it at auctions in US dollars. The 1954 1 shilling coin was issued by the Royal Mint during the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. The Queen had ascended to the throne in 1952, and by 1954 new coinage bearing her portrait had begun circulating widely throughout the United Kingdom. Before decimalisation in 1971, the British currency system used pounds, shillings, and pence. 1 shilling was equal to 12 pence, and 20 shillings made 1 pound. These coins were widely used in everyday transactions such as buying groceries, paying bus fares, or purchasing small household items. The 1954 issue was produced in large numbers, with tens of millions of coins minted to meet circulation demand across the United Kingdom. Despite the large production, these coins remain historically significant because they represent some of the earliest circulating coins featuring the young Queen Elizabeth II. Today they serve as reminders of the transition into a new era of British monarchy and currency. The 1954 United Kingdom 1 shilling has several interesting design elements that collectors appreciate. On the obverse side, the coin features a youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing right. This portrait was designed by British sculptor Mary Gillick and became one of the most recognisable images of the Queen during the early part of her reign. Around the portrait appears the Latin inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The reverse side displays a crowned shield featuring the 3 lions of England, a symbol deeply connected with British royal heritage. The design includes the inscription FID Def above the shield and 1 shilling below, with a date divided on either side. Technically, the coin is made of copper nickel and weighs about 5.65 grams, with a diameter of roughly 23.5 millimeters and a reeded edge. These physical characteristics help collectors identify authentic examples and distinguish them from other British coins. Although millions of these coins were produced, collector demand can still exist for certain conditions or varieties. In numismatics, the condition of a coin plays a major role in determining its value. Coins are typically graded on a scale ranging from poor or good condition to extremely fine and mint state. A coin described as fine condition usually shows moderate wear but still retains clear details on the portrait and design. Damaged or heavily circulated examples often have scratches, dull surfaces, or worn lettering, which significantly reduces collector interest. Even though the 1954 shilling is considered relatively common, collectors sometimes seek it as part of a complete set of British pre-decimal coins or early Elizabeth II coinage. However, damaged examples typically attract only modest demand because higher quality coins are still widely available. So how much is the 1954 1 shilling actually worth today? In fine condition, typical collector values range from about 25 cents to around $1, depending on the exact grade and market demand. Some price guides estimate values around $1 in fine condition and up to about $1.40 in very fine condition. Online marketplaces and auctions, circulated coins may sell for roughly $1 to $5, especially if they appear attractive or well preserved. Exceptional mint state examples can sometimes sell for several dollars more, though they are still considered affordable collectible coins. The key takeaway is that while this coin is historically interesting, it is not extremely rare in circulated condition. Its value increases mainly when the coin is preserved in near-perfect mint state or included in specialized collections. If you own a 1954 1 shilling or are thinking about collecting British coins, here are a few helpful tips. First, always check the coin's condition carefully. Small differences in wear can greatly affect its value. Coins with sharp details, original shine, and minimal scratches are far more desirable to collectors. Second, consider storing your coins properly. Use protective coin holders or albums to prevent scratches and environmental damage. Avoid touching the coin surface with bare fingers because oils from your skin can affect the metal over time. Third, research market prices before selling or buying. Auction sites, coin catalogs, and collector forums can give you a realistic idea of what collectors are currently paying. Finally, if you think your coin might be rare or unusually well preserved, you may want to have it graded by a professional coin grading service. In conclusion, The 1954 United Kingdom 1 shilling is a fascinating coin from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. While it was produced in large quantities and remains relatively common today, it still holds historical significance and collector interest. In fine condition, the coin typically sells for around $1 or slightly more, with higher values possible for better preserved examples. Although it may not make you a fortune, it remains a wonderful collectible piece of British history and a reminder of the pre-decimal currency era. Next up, the 1949 1 shilling from the United Kingdom. Many coin collectors and history enthusiasts are fascinated by pre-decimal British coins, and the 1949 shilling is one of those pieces that still appears in old collections, drawers, and antique coin lots. But the big question many people ask is, how rare is the 1949 1 shilling, and how much could it be worth today in dollars? In this video, we will look at the coin's history, its design features, its rarity, collector demand even in damaged condition, and the latest auction values. By the end of this video, you will know whether this coin could be a hidden treasure in your collection. The 1949 1 shilling coin was issued during the reign of George VI, who ruled Britain from 1936 until 1952. The shilling was an important part of the old British currency system, where 20 shillings equaled £1 and each shilling was worth 12 pence. The shilling had been used in Britain for centuries and remained in circulation until the decimal currency system was introduced in 1971. By 1949, Britain was recovering from the economic impact of World War II, and coins were produced in large quantities to support everyday commerce. Unlike earlier British shillings made with silver, coins produced after 1947, including the 1949 shilling, were struck using cupronickel, a copper and nickel alloy. This change reduced production costs and reflected the economic realities of the post-war period. The 1949 shilling was minted in London with a production of over 19 million coins, meaning it was widely circulated and commonly used in daily transactions. The 1949 1 shilling coin has several design elements that make it recognizable to collectors. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of King George VI facing left. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription that translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons. This portrait design was used on many British coins during his reign. On the reverse side, the coin displays a powerful heraldic image, a lion standing on top of the royal crown, symbolizing strength, monarchy, and British tradition. Below the design is the denomination 1 shilling. Here are some key specifications of the coin: metal, cupronickel, weight about 5.65 grams, diameter, about 23.6 millimeters, edge, reeded edge, mint, London. These classic design elements give the coin a strong historical and artistic appeal that collectors appreciate. One important thing collectors often ask is whether the 1949 shilling is rare. In reality, because more than 19 million coins were minted, the coin is generally considered fairly common among British pre-decimal coins. However, collector demand still exists. Even coins that are heavily circulated or slightly damaged can attract interest from beginner collectors, historical coin enthusiasts, or people building full sets of British shillings. Coins in poor or damaged condition may only be worth a small amount, but they still carry historical value because they represent the period immediately after World War II. For collectors trying to complete a full George VI coin collection, even worn examples are sometimes desirable. The real value increase comes when the coin is found in high grade, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, where the design details remain sharp and clear. The value of the 1949 United Kingdom 1 shilling depends heavily on its condition. Typical market values are approximately good or heavily circulated condition, about 50 cents to $1 and 50 cents fine condition, around $1 to $3 very fine to extremely fine, about $3 to $10 uncirculated examples, $10 or more. Some specially preserved pieces or proof examples can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000 at major auctions, though such cases are extremely rare. So while the average circulated coin is not extremely valuable, pristine specimens can attract strong collector interest. If you think you might have a 1949 1 shilling, here are a few tips for collectors. First, always check the coin's condition carefully. Look at the lion, crown, and the king's portrait to see how much detail remains. Coins with clear designs are usually worth more. Avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning may seem like a good idea, but it can actually reduce the value because collectors prefer coins with natural surfaces. Store your coins properly. Using coin holders, capsules, or albums will protect them from scratches, moisture, and environmental damage. Compare your coin with reliable price guides or recent auction listings to understand its current market value. The 1949 United Kingdom 1 shilling is a fascinating piece of British numismatic history. While it may not be extremely rare due to its large mintage, it still represents an important era in post-war Britain and the reign of King George VI. For collectors, the coin's value depends greatly on its condition, with ordinary circulated pieces worth only a few dollars, while well-preserved examples can reach much higher prices at auctions. Whether valuable or not, This coin remains a wonderful reminder of Britain's historic pre-decimal currency system. Next up, the 1963 United Kingdom 1 shilling. Many collectors overlook coins from the 1960s because they appear common, but even ordinary coins can hold interesting history and collectible value depending on their condition. In this video, we will look closely at the 1963 shilling in fine condition, explore its history, identify its design features, and discuss how much this coin can sell for in the auction market today. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who just discovered old coins in a drawer, this guide will help you understand the true value of this classic British coin. The 1963 1 shilling was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, a period when the United Kingdom still used the old pre-decimal currency system. At that time, 1 shilling was equal to 12 pence, and 20 shillings made £1. The shilling denomination has a long history in Britain dating back centuries, but by the mid-20th century the coin had transitioned from silver to a cupronickel alloy after 1946. British shilling coins like the 1963 issue remained in circulation until the UK switched to decimal currency in 1971 and were officially demonetised in 1990. Millions of these coins were produced at the London Mint, making them widely circulated throughout the United Kingdom during the 1960s. One of the most interesting things about the 1963 shilling is its elegant design. The obverse features a youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing right, wearing a laurel wreath. This portrait was created by artist Mary Gillick and includes the Latin inscription meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. On the reverse side, the design was created by William Gardner. There are actually two main reverse versions, the English design with 3 lions in a shield and the Scottish design with a single lion within a shield beneath a crown. The coin measures about 23.6 mm in diameter, weighs roughly 5.65 grams, and has a distinctive reeded edge. These design elements make the coin instantly recognizable to collectors of British pre-decimal currency. Although millions of 1963 shillings were minted, most surviving examples show heavy circulation wear because they were widely used in everyday transactions. Coins graded in fine condition typically show noticeable wear on the portrait and shield details, but the major features remain visible. Because the mintage was very high tens of millions of coins, the 1963 shilling is generally considered common among collectors. However, demand still exists among beginner collectors, historical coin enthusiasts, and those completing full-year sets of British shillings. Even damaged or worn examples can still attract buyers because they represent a piece of Britain's monetary history before decimalisation. Now let's talk about the most important question: how much is the 1963 1 shilling worth today? According to coin value guides and market listings, the value depends largely on the coin's condition. In fine condition, a typical 1963 shilling might be worth about 5 pence to 15 pence, which is roughly 6 cents to 20 cents US dollars. Higher grades such as extremely fine or uncirculated examples can reach 40 pence to £1 and 25 pence, or approximately 50 cents to $1.50 in the collector market. Some coins may sell slightly higher in online auctions if they are exceptionally preserved or part of collectible sets, but generally the coin remains affordable for collectors. If you happen to own a 1963 1 shilling, there are a few simple tips that can help you determine its potential value. First, always examine the condition of the coin carefully, because grading plays a major role in price. Look at the Queen's hair details, the shield lines, and the sharpness of the lettering. Second, check whether your coin has the English or Scottish reverse, as some collectors prefer to collect both variations. Third, avoid cleaning the coin with chemicals or polishing tools, because cleaning can reduce the coin's collector value significantly. Finally, storing coins in protective holders or albums will help preserve them for future collectors. In conclusion, the 1963 United Kingdom 1 shilling may not be one of the rarest British coins, but it remains an important piece of pre-decimal currency history. Its connection to the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, its classic heraldic design, and its role in everyday British commerce make it a meaningful collectible for numismatists around the world. Even in fine condition, the coin still carries modest value and historical significance. So if you ever come across one of these coins in an old collection or coin jar, remember that you are holding a small but fascinating piece of Britain's monetary heritage. Next up, the 1953 United Kingdom 1 shilling coin. At first glance, this coin might look like an ordinary old coin from pocket change. However, many collectors around the world are curious about whether this coin has any real value today. In this video, we will explore the history of the 1953 shilling, its design and unique features, how rare it actually is, and most importantly, how much collectors are paying for it today in auction markets. If you have one of these coins in your collection, especially in circulated condition, you might be surprised by what it could be worth. The 1953 1 shilling coin was issued during the early years of the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, making it one of the first circulating coins to feature the young Queen's portrait. The coin was struck shortly after her coronation in 1953, marking the beginning of a new era in British coinage. The shilling was an important part of the pre-decimal British currency system, where 20 shillings equaled £1. This particular coin was minted by the Royal Mint in London and produced in large numbers for everyday circulation. In fact, more than 41 million coins were minted for the English design alone, making it widely used throughout the United Kingdom during the 1950s. The coin remained in circulation for many years until the United Kingdom adopted the decimal currency system in 1971. Eventually, the old shilling was replaced by the modern 5-pence coin, and these historic coins slowly disappeared from everyday use. The 1953 shilling has several interesting design features that make it appealing to collectors. On the front of the coin, also known as the obverse, you will see the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing to the right. This portrait was designed by artist Mary Gillick and shows the young Queen without a crown, a design that collectors often refer to as the first portrait of the monarch on British coins. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Brit Omn Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of all the Britons on the reverse side. The coin features a crown shield design representing the United Kingdom. Interestingly, there were actually two different reverse designs produced in 1953, the English design showing 3 lions and the Scottish design featuring a single lion within a shield. Both designs include the words FID def above and 1 shilling below the shield. The coin itself is made of cupra nickel, weighs around 5.65 grams, and measures about 23.6 millimeters in diameter with a reeded edge. When it comes to rarity, the 1953 shilling is generally considered a common coin because millions were produced for circulation. However, collectors still value these coins for historical reasons, especially since they mark the beginning of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. In heavily circulated or damaged condition, the coin usually shows signs of wear, scratches, or fading details from years of use in everyday transactions. While damaged coins are not extremely valuable, they still attract beginner collectors who want to build complete sets of British pre-decimal coins. Another factor that keeps interest alive is the existence of 2 reverse varieties, English and Scottish, which encourages collectors to search for both versions when completing their collections. Now let's talk about the value, which is what most collectors really want to know. The value of a 1953 1 shilling coin depends heavily on its condition and circulated condition. The coin typically sells for only a small amount because of its high mintage. Market guides show that common circulated examples can sell for roughly 5 pence to 30 pence, depending on how worn the coin is. Converted into US dollars, that means many circulated coins are worth approximately 10 cents to 40 cents. However, better preserved coins in higher grades can reach $1 to $3 or more, and some collectors may pay higher prices if the coin is part of a high-quality collection or sold in an auction lot. Occasionally, individual examples listed online in collectible condition have sold for several pounds, especially when marketed to collectors who are building complete year sets. If you own a 1953 1 shilling coin or are thinking about collecting British pre-decimal coins, here are a few useful tips. Always check the condition of your coin carefully. Coins with clearer details and less wear are usually worth more. Second, look closely at the reverse design to see whether you have the English shield or the Scottish lion version, as some collectors prefer collecting both varieties. Another important tip is to avoid cleaning your coins. Cleaning may seem like a good way to make a coin look shiny, but it can actually reduce its value significantly in the eyes of collectors. Finally, consider storing your coins in protective holders or albums to prevent scratches and further wear. In conclusion, the 1953 United Kingdom 1 shilling coin is an interesting historical piece that marks the beginning of the coinage of Queen Elizabeth II. Although the coin is not extremely rare because millions were produced, it still holds value for collectors who appreciate British numismatic history and circulated condition. The coin usually sells for only a small amount in today's market, often under a few dollars. However, its historical significance, attractive design, and connection to the early years of the Queen's reign make it a meaningful addition to many coin collections. Next up, the 1951 1 shilling from the United Kingdom. At first glance, this coin might seem like ordinary pocket change from the past. However, collectors know that even worn or damaged coins can carry historical importance and collectible value. In this video, we'll explore the story behind the 1951 1 shilling, the features that make it interesting, how rare it really is, and what collectors might pay for it today in auction markets, even when the coin is in damaged condition. The 1951 1 shilling was issued during the reign of George VI, the British monarch who ruled from 1936 until his death in 1952. This period was a significant era for the United Kingdom because the nation was rebuilding after World War II. Coins from this time reflect a country transitioning from wartime hardship toward economic recovery. The shilling was part of Britain's pre-decimal currency system, which existed until 1971. In that system, £1 was equal to 20 shillings, and each shilling contained 12 pence. The 1951 issue represents one of the final shillings produced during the reign of George VI, making it historically interesting for collectors who specialise in mid-20th century British coins. The coin was produced at the London Mint and had a mintage of roughly 9.9 million pieces, which is relatively modest compared with some earlier years of British coinage. Because of this lower mintage, collectors often classify the 1951 shilling as relatively scarce compared with other shillings of the period. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1951 1 shilling is its detailed design. The obverse side of the coin features the left-facing portrait of King George VI. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription Georgiv 6D GBROMNREX, which translates roughly to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons. The reverse design showcases a striking heraldic image, a lion standing on a crown, symbolizing royal authority and British tradition. Beneath the lion appears the inscription 1 shilling, with decorative elements that emphasize the coin's regal heritage. From a technical perspective, the coin was made of cupronickel, a durable alloy commonly used in mid-20th century coins. It weighs approximately 5.65 grams and has a diameter of around 23.5 millimeters, with a reeded edge that helped prevent coin clipping in earlier times. These design and material features make the coin both visually appealing and durable, which is why many examples still survive today, even if they show significant wear. When collectors talk about rarity, they usually consider two factors: how many coins were originally minted and how many remain in collectible condition today. While nearly 10 million 1951 shillings were produced, many were heavily circulated in everyday commerce. As a result, a large number of surviving coins are found in worn or damaged condition. These coins may show scratches, fading details, corrosion, or bending caused by decades of use. Even though damaged coins are less desirable than pristine examples, they still hold value for beginner collectors and history enthusiasts. Some collectors enjoy owning even a worn coin because it represents a real piece of everyday life from the early 1950s. The fact that the 1951 issue is among the later coins of the George VI era also increases interest among collectors trying to complete a full date set of British shillings. Now let's talk about what collectors really want to know: the value. The price of a 1951 United Kingdom 1 shilling depends heavily on its condition. Coins in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can sell for several dollars or even more in specialist markets. However, coins that are heavily worn or damaged generally sell for much less. In today's collector market, a damaged or very worn 1951 shilling typically sells for around 70 cents to $1.70, depending on how much detail remains visible and whether the coin has any serious damage. Better preserved examples can reach several dollars, especially if they still retain strong design details. Rare varieties, unusual errors, or coins in exceptional condition can sometimes sell for higher amounts at auction. Although these prices may not seem extremely high, the true value of coins like this often lies in their historical significance and their place within a complete collection. If you happen to own a 1951 1 shilling or find one in your collection, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the coin carefully for signs of damage or unusual features. Even a small mint error or variety can significantly increase the coin's value. Second, avoid cleaning old coins. Cleaning can remove the natural patina and actually reduce the coin's collectible value. Professional collectors prefer coins in their original condition. Store your coins properly using protective holders, coin capsules, or albums. Proper storage helps prevent scratches, corrosion, and environmental damage. If you believe your coin may be valuable, consider having it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or numismatic expert. The 1951 1 shilling from the United Kingdom may not be the rarest coin ever produced, but it still represents an important piece of British monetary history. Issued during the reign of King George VI and during a time of national recovery after World War II, the coin captures a moment in history that collectors continue to appreciate today. Even in damaged condition, the coin retains modest value and historical appeal. For collectors, the real treasure is not just the monetary worth but the story behind the coin, a story that connects us to everyday life in Britain more than 70 years ago. Next up, the 1955 United Kingdom 1 shilling coin. Many people find these coins in old collections, inherited boxes, or even mixed coin lots, and often wonder if they could be worth something valuable. In this video, we will look closely at the 1955 1 shilling, especially in dirty or heavily circulated condition, and discuss its history, unique design features, collector demand, and the current auction market value in US dollars. Even a worn or dirty coin can still tell an amazing story about Britain's monetary past. The 1955 1 shilling coin was issued in the United Kingdom during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin belongs to the pre-decimal British currency system, where £1 was equal to 20 shillings, and each shilling was worth 12 pence. The coin was struck at the famous Royal Mint in London and circulated widely across Britain and the Commonwealth during the mid-20th century. In fact, the 1955 issue had a relatively large mintage of around 45 million coins, meaning it was produced in large quantities for everyday use. These coins remained in circulation for many years. When the UK decimalised its currency in 1971, the shilling was equivalent to 5 new pence, and it actually remained legal tender until 1990, which means it circulated for over 3 decades. The 1955 1 shilling coin has several design elements that make it recognisable to collectors. On the obverse, the coin features the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing right. This portrait was designed by artist Mary Gillick, and it became the first official effigy of the Queen used on British coinage. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The reverse side displays a crowned shield showing the 3 lions of England, along with the inscription FID Def meaning Defender of the Faith, and the denomination 1 shilling. The reverse design was created by engraver William Gardner. The coin itself is made of cupronickel, weighs about 5.65 grams, and has a diameter of roughly 23.5 millimeters, with a reeded edge. When it comes to rarity, the 1955 1 shilling is generally considered fairly common because millions were minted. However, condition plays a huge role in determining collector interest. Coins in uncirculated or near-perfect condition attract much more attention from collectors because they show sharp details and original luster. On the other hand, coins that are dirty, worn, scratched, or heavily circulated usually fall into lower grades such as good or very good. Despite this, even dirty coins can still be collectible. Many collectors enjoy obtaining inexpensive examples to complete date sets of British shillings, and historical coins from the reign of Queen Elizabeth II always carry some level of interest in the numismatic market. Now let's talk about the most important question: how much is a 1955 UK 1 shilling worth today? According to collector price guides and coin market data, the value of a typical 1955 1 shilling depends heavily on its condition. In very worn or dirty condition, the coin may sell for roughly 20 cents to 80 cents in the collector market. Coins in fine to very fine condition can sell for around $1 to $5, while high-grade or uncirculated examples may reach $30 or more at auctions depending on demand. Because millions were minted, the coin is not extremely rare, but collectors still buy them as part of British coin collections. Occasionally, coins with exceptional preservation or interesting toning can sell for slightly higher prices. If you happen to own a 1955 1 shilling coin, here are a few important tips. First, avoid cleaning the coin, even if it looks dirty. Cleaning can damage the surface and actually reduce its value to collectors. Second, store the coin in a protective holder or coin flip to prevent further wear or corrosion. Proper storage can help preserve whatever details remain on the coin. If you want to determine its real value, compare it with recent sales on auction sites or have it graded by a professional coin dealer. Sometimes small differences in condition can make a big difference in price. To conclude, the 1955 United Kingdom 1 shilling is a fascinating piece of mid-20th century British coinage. Although it is not extremely rare due to its high mintage, it still holds historical value and collector interest. Even a dirty or circulated example tells a story about the era of Queen Elizabeth II and the pre-decimal currency system that existed before 1971. While most worn coins may only be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars, well-preserved pieces can reach much higher prices in the collector market. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 shilling coin from 1960. At first glance, this coin might look like just another old British coin, but collectors know that even common coins can carry interesting history and surprising value. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the 1961 shilling in very fine condition, discuss its background, unique design features, collector demand, and most importantly, its current auction market value in US dollars. If you enjoy learning about rare and historical coins, make sure to watch until the end because I'll also share some helpful tips for collectors. The 1 shilling coin, often called a bob in everyday British language, was an important part of the United Kingdom's pre-decimal currency system. Before decimalisation in 1971, 1 shilling was equal to 12 pence, and 20 shillings made £1. The 1961 shilling was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had become queen in 1952 after the death of King George VI. Coins of this period feature the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, which appeared on many British coins during the early years of her reign. By 1960, the British economy was modernising, but the traditional coinage system was still widely used in everyday life for shopping, transport, and small purchases. Millions of shillings circulated across the UK, making them one of the most recognisable coins of the era. The 1960 United Kingdom 1 shilling is made from cupronickel, a durable alloy composed mainly of copper and nickel. The coin has a diameter of about 23.5 millimeters and weighs roughly 5.65 grams. On the obverse, you will find the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing to the right, surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina FD, which means Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse design is equally striking and features the Scottish lion within a crowned shield, representing the royal arms of Scotland. Around the design appears the inscription FID Def and 1 shilling, along with the year 1960. The detailed heraldic artwork and balanced design make this coin visually appealing and historically significant for collectors. Although the 1961 shilling had a large mintage, meaning millions were produced, collector demand still exists for coins in better grades. Many of these coins circulated heavily for years, which means finding pieces in very fine or better condition can be more appealing to collectors. Even coins in damaged or worn condition still attract beginner collectors or those building complete date sets of British shillings. Because the coin represents the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's coinage, it remains a popular piece for historical collections. However, its overall rarity is considered moderate to common, so condition plays a very important role in determining value. When we look at the current auction and collector market, the value of a 1960 United Kingdom 1 shilling in very fine condition is generally modest but still collectible. In most cases, these coins sell for approximately $1 to $5 US depending on eye appeal and preservation. Coins that are more heavily worn or damaged may sell for less than $1, while exceptionally preserved pieces, especially those graded extremely fine or uncirculated, can sometimes reach $10 to $20 or more in specialized auctions. The value can also increase slightly if the coin has exceptional luster or comes from a well-known collection. If you're interested in collecting the 1961 shilling, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. First, always check the condition of the coin, because grading has a major impact on value. Coins with clearer details on the lion shield and the Queen's portrait will usually be more desirable. Second, avoid cleaning coins, as cleaning can significantly reduce collector value. Third, consider storing your coins in protective holders or coin albums to prevent scratches and environmental damage. Finally, if you plan to invest seriously in coin collecting, it can be helpful to follow online auctions and numismatic marketplaces to understand current prices and demand trends. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1 shilling 1960 is a classic piece of British coinage from the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II. While it may not be among the rarest coins in the world, it still carries historical charm and remains an important part of pre-decimal British currency. In very fine condition, the coin typically sells for a few dollars, but its real value lies in its connection to the history of the United Kingdom and the legacy of one of the longest reigning monarchs in history. For collectors, it's a wonderful addition to any British coin collection and a reminder that even everyday coins can tell fascinating stories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more videos about rare and valuable coins from around the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.